Hey, my name is John, and my life just got shattered. I can't really go into details exactly what was done to me just because of the fact that I'm just not that type of person. I'm not going to ruin someone else's life. But the best I can say is that my wife has done some very epically terrible things to me, and we finally decided that we had to separate. And we've been married for 10 years. Well, I'll take that back. We've been married for 5 years, but we've been together for closer to 11. But we've been living together almost that entire time, so, I mean, pretty much marriage. This is the hardest thing I've ever gone through, and I've gotten on here because of the fact that I really am utterly alone right now, and I just need an outlet. I need a way to just express all this and get it off my chest. I was sitting here losing my mind, and finally realized that I needed someone to talk to, and it's not as easy to just talk to someone than it is to just talk to a camera, because people always have something to say. You know, they want to tell you that they're sorry. They want to tell you that they want to tell you what to do to try to make things better. And I feel it's just better to be able to release like this. I mean, I have talked to some people, but I've moved all the way out into Kentucky for my wife. She had gotten a job opportunity here, and that job opportunity kind of put us out in the middle of nowhere. I'm from Georgia, and I had kind of become a bit of a hermit after her and I got together. I mean, I think it's something that a lot of people tend to do after you get in a serious relationship and start building a family. A lot of times you don't stay as connected with your friends as you should, and I do regret that. But at the same time, I'm not necessarily sure that any of them would have words for me right now anyway that would really help. So the things I can explain are this. Last year, probably in close to November, maybe October, around that time, but around fall, my wife had fallen into a serious depression, and she spoke with our doctor about it, and so he prescribed her an antidepressant. I want to say it was Lexapro. I think that's right. And so she was on that, and it wasn't maybe a week in, and she felt amazing. Like immediately she was feeling, just energetic and strong-willed and had a lot of spunk and was just cruising. I mean, and at that point in time, I started seeing her put more, focus into her work and her professional life than I'd ever seen. And she was also doing a great job of being there for her family. She was there for us and was very just in tune in general. And I thought that was amazing. And for a little while it was. But then it got dark because things started happening slowly, and so slowly that I didn't notice it. She started, well, some of the things I didn't even realize till really later on until I looked back, but she was always a very emotional person, I mean, anything could make her cry. We could watch a romantic comedy, and at the end of it, she's bawling, and I loved that about her. I loved how much emotion and feeling she always had. But that stopped. She stopped feeling anything. And it's so weird that I didn't notice until later. But because she still was kind to me and her child, she was just, we couldn't see it because the way she treated us wasn't necessarily different. It was just the way that she reacted to all situations. It was so disconnected. And then I started noticing that she became so involved with her work that she was pretty much ignoring me and her son, which, by the way, we have a son. He's 2.5, getting closer to 3, actually, so like 2 3/4. But when that started happening, I started noticing that. And then I started saying, hey, you need to pull back on work a little bit. You need to start showing us a little bit more attention. And then it just got worse. And she took on more and more work and got more and more busy. And we saw her less and less. Now, I can't go into the things that really necessarily came next unless her and I speak in the future and she gives me permission to talk about this. But needless to say, the trust within our marriage is broken, and it was very bad. I've heard stories, but I've never come across anyone that's had things get as horrible as this was. So we tried to fix things, and she had trouble controlling herself. We also, when it happened, she started seeing a therapist and was diagnosed with bipolar. The therapist was pretty certain that's what it was, and then she went to a psychiatrist and they diagnosed her with bipolar. But it was almost, in a way, at first I thought it was a good thing, because I'm thinking, well, okay, here's a problem. We know what the problem is. It's not that she just was, wanting to be evil to me and do these horrible things or didn't care about me. She truly has a problem, and now maybe there's a way to fix it. So she started medication, and we had read that sometimes things can get worse before they get better during medication, and they have. They've gotten so bad that I couldn't keep going. And I know that sounds bad, and it probably sounds even worse because I can't tell you what happened, but I finally had to pull back. I had to throw in my towel. Currently, we're taking a month break and reevaluating the situation in a month. But there's there's very little hope in my heart that anything's going to come from it, because I'm pretty shattered. I'm pretty broken by all of this. And she's not. That's what's so scary. You know, when you have someone looking you in the eyes who has done something so terrible to you, and they're crying, and they're begging your forgiveness, and they are so genuinely sorry. I mean, it might not excuse the action of what they have done, and you might not be able to reconcile your emotions to say, let's get back together or anything like that, but you can at least walk away feeling that there was a mutual understanding of wrongdoing and of fault, and at least some respect. And I'm not saying I don't have any respect for her, because in a lot of ways she's a very strong woman and a good person. But she's a robot now. I'm not kidding. I mean, maybe this medication will finally level out and get her on the right path later on. And maybe I'll see, that light in her eye that used to be there again. But right now, I can't see anything. All I see is darkness, a lack of emotion. I mean, I tell her, remind her, well, and have to remind her multiple times of what she's done, because she brushes it under the rug like it's no big deal. But when I remind her, she'll be like, I know. And I'll be like, does that not bother you? Does it not hurt you? And she'll very truthfully look at me and say, right now, no, I don't feel anything. All I have is this mania, and it drives her emotions, and it drives everything towards a need for instant gratification, something to pretty much jumpstart her happiness, because it's almost like a drug. She's addicted to the mania itself, because when she's not in mania, she's in a depressed state, and it's very unoften now that she's in a neutral state. So she's either in this terribly unhappy, sad state, or she's overly energetic and hyper, but also her morals almost just disappear, and her inhibitions are gone, and it's scary. But anyway, I'm mainly wanting to talk about what I plan to do about it, because I'm sure I could talk about the situation all day, and I'm sure that if I continue making videos on here, that I probably will touch again on the subject and maybe elaborate a little bit more on the situation. But as of right now, I need to focus on me. So let me give you a little bit more of the story. When we lived in Georgia, I initially was working for a freight company as a trailer mechanic there. And I'd been there for 9 years, close to 10 years. And my wife really, really wanted a child. I didn't want one at the time. I was really scared of the prospect of bringing a child into this world, and The reason is because my family, um, we don't have a great track record for parenting. I don't speak with my mother anymore. I don't speak with my father anymore. Matter of fact, I really have no contact with most of my family anymore, except for maybe my cousin. Um, but it was just one of those things where I'd come to the conclusion that I could probably be happy the rest of my life without a child. And there was also the fact that, I had dreams and things as well that I was wanting to achieve, and I was afraid that I would not be able to split my need to be able to achieve some of those things and have a child at the same time. And but man, I tell you what, that dude is the best thing that ever happened to me. And right now, he is literally all I have. So, oh man, I'm glad I made that decision. That is definitely the best decision I've ever made. But sorry, I'm an ugly crier. Anyway, I finally decided um, that okay, yeah, let's try it. Let's have a kid. I realized that I felt that I could probably still be myself and have a child. I only wanted one because, like I said, I feel that you have to pour so much into being a parent that if you're at all worried about yourself, then there's a level there of I guess you could call it selfishness, but I don't know if that's really a good word because I don't know if it's necessarily selfish to just want to live your own life. But I felt that I could definitely do that with one. I would be able to give that child plenty of attention and love and teach him and help him to become a good person. I felt that I could pull that off and still enjoy the things that I enjoy and still be able to be myself. So we did. And as I said, it was the best idea I've ever had by far. And it has brought me an immense amount of richness in my life. It's also hard as hell. I became the primary caregiver actually because my wife, her career took off. And with the amount of time that I was working, I was probably, with the drive time and everything added together, probably putting in 14, 15 hours a day, and just wasn't able to really see my family anyway. And then with the amount of money that we, would be spending on daycare and, other factors, it came out to the amount that we would make in profit from it as opposed to the amount that my wife was already making. She had already at that point in time over doubled my salary, and reducing the salary of all the expenses that it would have been from gas and car, expenses and, childcare. It made more sense for me to stay home with him. So that's what we did. And I became, a stay-at-home dad. And it was awesome. I was not always the best. I loved my child and I gave him a good amount of attention and stuff, but I will admit there were times where the house stayed dirty and while he was napping I was playing a video game, and yeah, there were plenty of arguments about that, but we worked through it, and I did make changes, and I did get my stuff together and start taking better care of it. Now, also, being a married man, I gained a ton of weight. When I first met my wife, I was right at about 207 and was just pure muscle. I'd just come out of a previous marriage 6 months prior before I met her, and I had been at the end of that marriage, I'd gotten my weight down pretty well, and then I also continued to work out and eat right and everything for that entire time. So I got pretty well fit, and I was very proud of myself. When I met yeah, I guess I can say her first name. When I met Kimberly, um, I I was, in a very strong place, and she was very overweight. I believe she was probably closer to 325, 330 pounds when I met her, and I'm not normally attracted to very overweight women, but um, she was just intensely charismatic. She had a way about her that was just so sweet and loving and caring that it just took me off guard. And at first, when I had first seen her, I wasn't really sure that you know, I could deal with that, especially considering what I had just gone through. Because when I did that, I had gotten up to 298 pounds, and then went all the way down to 207, and did it relatively quick, but also very healthy, and it scared me, because I was afraid that that could kind of pull me back in to some of my bad old habits, and eventually it did. Initially, I told her that, hey, I've lost a lot of weight. I worked really hard for it. I need someone who's going to be able to kind of help me with this, not drag me back down. And so she was actually on board, and she was like, let's do this. Yeah, let's try it. And she jumped on the wagon with me, and she lost a lot of weight during that time, and we continued forward, and we did really well for a while. But after a while, she started slipping, and then she had a little bit of a problem, and this is not something that she would deny. She admits it to this day, that when she does something wrong, she feels like her significant other, she kind of needs to get them to do it too, so that she doesn't feel so guilty. So she would find ways to even tempt me and make deals with me and things like that to try and get me to eat bad with her, usually at the with the thought, hey, if you come with me and we eat bad tonight, next week I'll go to the gym 5 days in a row, and we'll eat really healthy all week and everything, and we'll just start doing this maybe once a week or something. There was always some kind of like little explanation of how it's going to work out in the end. So I was like falling for it left and right because I was an idiot. And so I tried to go forwards and do those things, and it never worked. I mean, obviously it wouldn't work because my mind got a little skewed from what I needed to be doing. It needed to be focused and needed to be ready to just say no to these things. But instead, just like an addict does, kind of give myself, give myself false promises in order to justify my current actions. And so I would, go out and eat with her, and then that would be Friday night, and then let's eat bad tonight would turn into, well, let's just go ahead and eat bad this weekend, and then this month we'll just really knock it out, and blah blah blah. But at some point in time, I realize it's just bullcrap, right? But at that point in time, I've already become so weak and unfocused that I'm willing to swallow the lie, so that I can then justify my own actions of doing it. So I almost living through her lie to give me justification for my own bad actions, and that's pretty much what was happening. And that's what I did, and I gained a lot of weight. Um, now, uh, I then lost a ton, like right before our wedding. And like I said, we've been together for almost 11 years. We've been married for 5. So, maybe about 5 or 6 years in, um, I lost a ton of weight right before our wedding. And what's so funny is I lost the weight for the wedding and almost got down to the weight I was previously, when she had met me. And then, but during the space between uh, our engagement pictures and our actual wedding, I gained like 30 pounds back. So at my actual wedding, I was not that light comparatively to what I had gotten down to. So the whole purpose for it was kind of lost anyway. But at least I was lighter than I was because, like I said, I'd gotten up to 298 pounds. Um, and then yeah, I gained all that weight back. And I have pretty much stayed pretty stable in like the anywhere between 275 to 298 pounds, probably ever since maybe like a year after our wedding. Which probably makes that 4 years now that I've stayed this steady, very heavy weight. Um, Now, my right before all this, well, actually, right when this all happened, um, I wanted to make changes, and I had started eating healthy and was already losing weight. So I started this time at 298 pounds, and today I'm at 282. So uh, what is that? 16 pounds. Yes. So I've lost 16 pounds over the course of about maybe 3 weeks. So I am doing fairly well, and I'm very proud of myself. Also, ever since this happened, um, if anybody's ever gone through a hard breakup or a divorce or anything like that, immediately your mind goes into what can I do to better myself kind of mode. And I'm really hoping I can hold on to this. Now I know I'm not going to be able to hold on to the thing that's driving me, which is good because I need to sooner or later release that because it's a very painful thing that's driving me right now. But I need to keep the focus that it's granted me. My emotions are all over the place, but for some reason, my focus for my health is intense. There are some openly logical reasons that I have, evaluated the situation and thought, wow, my son really needs me now. I'm going to be pretty much the only caregiver in this house, and he's going to have to, see his mother on the weekends or maybe like one weekend day in a day of the week or something like that. So he needs me, and I need to be energetic so I can play with him, and because that's one thing I feel like I've done a very bad job of. I'm more than happy to have him jump up on the couch next to me and play with me and talk to me and hug on me and us talk and us read or whatever. But I'm really really bad these days about getting up and playing with him, like actually getting down in the dirt and digging with him and playing with him and doing things that I should be doing as a father. Because things just hurt. It's like my knees hurt. Like I get down on the ground and my knees are hurting. It doesn't hurt. I mean, it doesn't help that I'm 36. I'll be turning 37 in September. So, I mean, I'm getting there. I'm getting at that point now where if I don't start taking good care of myself, it'll be kind of a. It'll be. I won't say there's no return because there's always a way to better yourself, but I'll be at that point where I might do permanent damage to my bones and my you know, other parts of my body. I might get diabetes soon. I could have a heart attack soon. I already take medication for my heart. So I mean, I've got a lot of things that I've got to worry about with my health, and I'm hoping that I'll have this focus that I have now later, and can keep doing this. That's actually going to be a part of this, and like I said, I'm thinking I'm going to make this a regular thing. If you guys end up liking it, I probably will. Um, what I plan on doing is obviously eating healthy, exercising, showing you guys what I'm doing to make this happen. Um, Showing you the exercises I'm doing, showing you the food I'm eating, showing you how I'm trying to rebuild my life. Um, and there's, further things to talk about too, because like I said, I had to quit my job in order to come here to Kentucky. Um, and I'm unemployed. Now, my wife makes very good money, extremely good money. And she's already said that, you know, she would never just abandon me or her child financially like that. And every other way, I feel pretty abandoned. But it seems that she's willing to at least do this for us. With that being said, I do need to find a source of income on my own, though. I can't rely on that for the rest of my life. She has said that she would do it for the rest of my life, but I can't be a 50-year-old man, maybe even in another relationship in the future, who doesn't have a job, who makes his money from his ex-wife. That's not going to happen. That's not going to be the person I am, regardless of how much money she makes and how, you know, much of a drop in the bucket it probably would be for her to help me. I've got ideas, and I might share some of those as I'm going through it and figuring it out myself. And I'm just going to kind of try and keep you guys up to date with what I'm doing. Like I said, I'm at 282 pounds right now. I'm going to start showing you guys how much I'm losing every week. I don't know if I'm going to do daily videos or if I'm going to do weekly videos or what. I really have no idea what this is going to turn into. I guess it'll probably have to do with if you guys are even freaking interested in what I'm saying. I might just be, some ridiculous bald guy talking into a camera that nobody even gives a crap about listening to, but I don't know. Maybe this will help people, or maybe I can, give some insight to people that are going through similar things and try and help them out with the same kind of stuff. I don't know. I don't know what this is going to become, but I mean, if I can help people, that's always a positive, and I'm always willing to do that. But anyway, I think that's where I'm going to end today, because I can already tell that this has made me feel a little bit better. I can tell by talking through things that I feel a little less anxious, and I haven't cried. Well, wait, I did, didn't I? Yeah, I did. I cried. Okay, well, I haven't cried since then, and that's definitely, that's better, I guess, slightly. Anyway, that was therapeutic, and I plan to keep doing this. So prepare for more videos. I'll go ahead and apologize ahead of time. Bye.